defrauding two women, Julius Blossom and Esther Michael, the pretext of facilitating baby adoptions. The command spokesman, Grace Irenjikoko, confirmed the development in the statement issued on Wednesday, noting that the suspect operated in collaboration with a local vigilante group, the Onolag Security Planning and Advisory Committee. She noted that during interrogation, the suspects confessed to their involvement and are still in police custody. She said efforts are ongoing to identify and apprehend other syndicate members, including the implicated, adding that the victims have been safely rescued and reunited with their families. Bayelsa State High Court sitting in Yenagoa has sentenced 4 persons to death by hanging over alleged conspiracy and kidnapping. The 4 persons convicted included manager Etonzo Daniel Dere Tiede, Inimotimi Rufus, and Tara Firstman. The presiding judge, Justice Patience Diri, found the 4 persons guilty of the allegations of conspiracy and kidnapping under Section 2, Subsection 1 of the Bayelsa State Law 2013. According to the Police Prosecution Council, the 4 persons led by manager Etonzo stormed the working site of November Dredging Company located at the Ayama Ijo in the Southern Ijo local government area of the state. The prosecution said while their attempts to abduct the owner of the dredging company failed, they started shooting sporadically and scared most of the workers. But a 28-year-old secretary of the company who was hiding in the office was forcefully taken away at gunpoint. Upon her release after 1 month and 3 days, the operatives of the anti-kidnapping squad of the Bayelsa State Police Command commenced a diligent investigation and through due investigation arrested the leader of the kidnappers gang, Etonza manager, which led to the arrest of other intimidation. Justice Patience Diri in her ruling found the 4 accused persons guilty of the 2 counts of conspiracy and kidnapping and sentenced them to death by hanging. 5 officials of the Delta State Traffic Management Authority have been arraigned before a Delta State High Court sitting in Ugeli North local government area of the state over allegations of theft and extortion. The case has drawn public attention and the court is expected to determine the officials' culpability in the allegations leveled against them. The 5 officials were arraigned following claims by a 44-year-old commercial tricycle rider that 81,000 naira in cash went missing after his tricycle was impounded by Destma officials at Otonvodo Market in Ugeli. The tricycle operator alleged that the Destma officials had accused him of wrongfully parking and consequently impounded his tricycle at the Destma office. He was told to pay a fine of 10,000 naira, but the officials increased the amount they demanded to 30,000 naira after he accused them of stealing the money he left inside his tricycle. The man said he was instructed to pay the money into a Zenith Bank account, which he did before his tricycle was released. Following a formal complaint to the police, the 5 officials were arrested and detained. Their arraignment marks the beginning of legal proceedings to address charges of extortion and criminal misconduct made against them. Attempts to reach the director of Destma, Mr. Desmond Adu, for comments on the incident proved unsuccessful as calls and messages to his mobile phone went unanswered. Abia State government has promised to collaborate with the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control in eradicating fake and expired products in Ezioku Road Market. Made this known at the Ezioku Market, where he warned the traders on the implications of fake products and redating of expired products in the market. The commissioner identified fake products as a big menace to the society and danger to people's health. Also, the mayor of Aba South local government area, Obialo Anyanwu, who was represented by the secretary of the local government, Mr. Gideon Adako, expressed worry at the activities of some traders who produce fake products or rewrite the dates of already expired products in Ezioku markets. He thanked NAFDAC for the war against unwholesome activities in the markets. In his speech, the interim chairman of Ezioku thanked NAFDAC and the Abia State government for the intervention in the markets. The Southeast Zonal Director of NAFDAC, Mr. Martins Iloyomade, who led NAFDAC for allegedly being used to produce of fake products and redating of expired ones. Kogi State Governor Ahmed Ododo has banned the collection of daily revenue collection by unions in the 21 local government areas of the state. At an emergency meeting held at the Revenue House in Lokoja, Ododo said the implementation and collection of infrastructure maintenance levy policy has been undermined by some union traders who prioritize personal gain over the interests of their members and the state. The governor, who was represented by the Commissioner for Information and Communication, said instead of remitting the funds as stipulated, the union leaders have resorted to collecting illegal membership dues, depriving both their members and government of which needed revenue. On his part, the state security advisor, Comrade Jere Omodara, retired, assured that the policy will be implemented with full force. Omodara urged all the union associations to work within the ambit of the law. Also speaking, the Commissioner for Transportation, Atuluku Levi said the policy was not introduced to which hurts anybody. ATN gathered that all the top security chiefs in the state are expected to have a closed-door meeting to discuss how the new policy will be adequately implemented in the state. Collaboration between the federal government and the International Fund for Agricultural Development is having a transformative impact on agriculture in Niger State, with farmers, particularly those in the rice value chain, celebrating improved livelihoods through the Value Chain Development Program. This was revealed by the state program coordinator for the VCDP, Hajiya Shah, during a media tour of rice farming and processing communities in the state. The tour focused on the significant improvements brought to farming communities, especially in the Idati local government area. In a statement issued by the Knowledge Management and Communication Advisor at IFAD, Vera Onyaka Oyilo shared how the intervention has positively impacted farmers in Idati and before the program. Farmers relied solely on rainfall agriculture and had little to no activity during the dry season. However, through the VCDP, farmers received training on good agronomic practices and were empowered with solar irrigation systems, enabling them to venture into dry season farming. She further explained how the intervention provided farmers with critical tools and trainings to transition to advanced farming techniques that increase productivity. Farmers who previously cultivated only small plots of land ranging from half a hectare to 2 hectares now significantly expanded their operations. It still highlighted the life-changing effects the program has had on the farmers and their families. Governor Nasir Idris of Kebbi State has approved the construction of a government girls' secondary school in Derindaji, Sakaba local government area, fulfilling a request from the chiefdom. Speaking during a thank you visit to the palace of Derindaji Chiefdom, Governor Idris assured residents of his commitment to education and community development. The governor also reiterated his administration's dedication to supporting the people of Kebbi State, acknowledging their strong backing of his leadership. In response, the chief of Derindaji, Alhaji Mohammed Ladan Musa, expressed gratitude for the approval of the school, describing it as a step towards improving girls' education in the area. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has approved residents of the Federal Capital Territory to expect more infrastructural development in the area of 2025. Speaking after receiving the 2025 This Day newspaper and Rise TV 2025 Minister of the Year award, Wike thanked President Bola Tinubu for granting him the opportunity to serve.
Yeah, when I personally find that it's also very hard. I won. But it is for everybody. I thank Mr. President for giving us the opportunity. If the President did not give us the opportunity, we may not be here to contribute the little we have contributed. And I want to thank all Nigerians, particularly those who reside in Abuja and carry on their businesses in Abuja, that this year 2025 will see more development, we will see more infrastructure. And that's what is basic for us. We have no time for excuses. No, the time for excuses are gone. This is just one thing of the New Hope agenda. I thank Nigerians who are, if you look at it, it's not just Rivers people, the Nigerians that are here, from Akwa Ibom down to Edo to Delta to Cross River to Rivers. I don't want to go to this other side, so I will say that I'm looking for something. Then thank you, and I can assure you that God will do better. Thank you, and God bless you.
While commenting on the criticism from Arise TV and This Day newspaper, the minister said the award is an indication that they were not biased in their selection.
Then Arise has said that this is the most difficult. It's not. It is more difficult for This Day and Arise News. For Nigerians, it's not. Of course, it's difficult because I don't think there's any minister, any public officer that have been taken on the way This Day and Arise. Every morning, Arise is concerned with FCT. Even presidential chat is FCT. So that is why it's difficult. But I thank God Nigerians have made it. Let me use this opportunity to say, Mr. Ndukayewo and your team, you have shown that you are not biased, even though we may be quarreling, even though you may not have paid your grand rent, you still have to do the right thing. Otherwise, Nigerians would have said, this is partial. But you've done the right thing. I'm sure everybody here is happy that I emerged as the Minister of the Year.
Troops of the 6th Brigade Nigerian Army operating under Operation Golden Peace have again intercepted rustlers of livestock and arrested 3 suspect cattle rustlers in Taraba State. According to a statement released on Wednesday by the acting spokesperson of the brigade, Captain Oni Olubodunde, the operation was carried out following an intelligence report that alerted the troops to the movement of stolen livestock. The statement said the suspects were found in possession of 174 cows and 57 sheep, allegedly stolen from border villages between Plateau and Taraba states. While reaffirming its commitment to tackling crime, the brigade urged residents to continue providing security agencies with credible information to enhance ongoing efforts to maintain peace and stability. You are watching The Transition on Attractive Television Network. We will return after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. This is our Titan Television Network Transition. Now the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has called on regional leaders and international partners to double efforts in combating security, social and economic challenges in the Lake Chad Basin. The Lake Chad Basin borders 4 countries: Cameroon, Nigeria and Chad. Speaking at the Lake Chad Basin Governors Forum in Maiduguri, Borno State capital, the president stressed the need for sustained cooperation, effective governance, and investment in development to achieve lasting peace in the region. Tinubu, who was represented by his vice, Kashim Shettima, urged stakeholders to focus on rebuilding programs that restore livelihoods and promote inclusive governance. He emphasized the significance of addressing the root cause of conflict and enhancing cross-border cooperation, calling for a people-centered approach that prioritizes youth and women. Tinubu also called for greater international support, citing the role of multilateral organizations, private sector engagement, and civil society partnership in stabilizing the region. Acting National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Ambassador Iliya Damagum, has blamed unnamed party leaders for fueling the crisis within the party's National Working Committee. Speaking during the opening session of the Board of Trustees meeting at the PDP National Secretariat in Abuja on Wednesday, Damagum accused some leaders of interfering in the party's internal affairs by contacting other NWC members directly, even in his presence. He expressed frustration over the actions of these leaders, noting that they would not tolerate such behavior if they were in his position as the head of the party. However, Damagum downplayed the situation, describing the crisis as part of the usual challenges in political organizations and assuring that it would soon be resolved. Damagum urged party leaders with personal ambitions to exercise caution, warning that such ambition should not undermine the PDP, which he described as their only viable political platform. He also assured the BOT that the NWC is working diligently to ensure the National Executive Committee meeting scheduled for February takes place as planned. His reassurance followed a call by the BOT chairman and former Senate President Adolfo Swabara, who emphasized the importance of holding the NEC meeting as scheduled. This was prompted by concerns over the lack of visible preparations for the meeting. House of Representatives has dismissed claims that some federal lawmakers demanded bribes from vice chancellors of federal universities to approve their 2025 budget allocations. Describing the report as false and misleading, the statement by the spokesman for the House, Akin Rotimi, said the publication was a deliberate attempt to tarnish the reputation of the legislature. Rotimi also said the budget process follows a constitutional guided and transparent procedure, emphasizing that the 2025 appropriation bill was presented by President Bola Tinubu before a joint session of the National Assembly. He further noted that some vice chancellors had failed to appear for the budget defense sessions despite being constitutionally required. He said recent oversight visits by the House Committee on University Education had uncovered troubling governance practices in certain institutions, adding that preliminary findings pointed to serious malfeasance requiring thorough investigation, while commending university administrators who have compiled with due process. The House said the actions of a few attempting to evade accountability would not go unnoticed. The House urged anyone with credible evidence of misconduct to present it to the appropriate authorities, including the House Committee on Ethics and Privileges or anti-corruption agencies like the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission. Minister of Education Tunji Alausa has said President Bola Tinubu has given the Ministry of Education a mandate to unveil innovative ways to boost the ranking of Nigerian universities. He said the mandate informed his appointment as the substantive Minister of Education during the cabinet reshuffle by the President. Minister of Education during the cabinet reshuffle by the President. According to Alausa, 5 universities are being shortlisted for specialized kind of training, which would then be passed on to other institutions across the country. Beyond this, the minister revealed that the Tinubu administration is committed to sanitizing the country's education system by eliminating the proliferation of miracle centers. Alausa alleged that some private secondary schools across the country have developed the penchant for attracting students under the guise of guaranteed success in exams, regardless of their academic performance. Nigerian Immigration Service says about 1,836,533 passports were issued, while 828 foreigners were repatriated between January and December 2024. This disclosure was made in Abuja by the Minister Dr. Lubumi Tunji-Ojo when he spoke on some reform embarked upon by his ministry last year. Dr. Tunji Ojo, who also disclosed that 6 billion naira was generated by the minister from expatriate quota fees, citizenship application and places of worship last year, said this figure reflects more than 50% increase compared to the previous years. Giving the breakdown, the minister said 2.4 billion was generated from expatriate quota fees, 392 million from citizenship application fees, and over 12 million from places of worship. Dr. Tunji Ojo highlighted innovations the ministry introduced in visa processing in the country, including the establishment of visa approval centers in Abuja and database for applicant profiling. He said over 1.8 million passports were issued in 2024, along with clearance of a backlog of 200,000 applicants, as well as repatriations of 828 foreigners. The ministry, according to the minister, also recorded 180 disciplinary cases resolved across various services in the year under review. Dr. Tunji Ojo also revealed that 32,640 officers were promoted in 2023, followed by the promotion of 20,851 in the year 2024. Federal High Court in Ado-Ekiti has struck out the defamation suits filed by the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, against activist lawyer Dele Farotimi over alleged cybercrime. The case, which stemmed from comments made by Farotimi in an interview about his book, Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System, particularly concerning the founder of Afe Babalola University, Ado-Ekiti, Are Afe Babalola, was formally withdrawn in court. At the hearing, counsel for the complainant, Samson Osubu, informed the court that the prosecution had filed a notice of discontinuance. Asobu cited Section 108, Subsection 1, Subsection 2 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015 as the basis for the withdrawal, adding that the prosecution, with the leave of his honorable court, seeks to withdraw the charge against the defendant and pray that the charge be struck out. He also said the decision to withdraw the case followed interventions by well-meaning Nigerians and a request from the nominal complainant, Afe Babalola, to discontinue the matter. Counsel for the defendant, Adeyinka Olumide Fusika's son, did not oppose the withdrawal. The withdrawal of the suit follows the intervention of prominent traditional rulers led by the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, on Monday. Afe Babalola announced that he would instruct his lawyers to withdraw the defamation charges against Farotimi. Activist cum politician Omoyele Sowore has pleaded not guilty to the cybercrime charges against him at the Federal High Court in Abuja. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, had filed the charges against Sowore for calling him an illegal IGP. Sowore had made the remark on his verified X handle. However, the activist is standing trial before Justice Layman of the FCT High Court and was docked at about 10:00 a.m. when the charges were read to him. When the charges were read, Sowore pleaded not guilty to all the charges. Meanwhile, several of his followers had protested in front of the court over Sowore's arraignment. Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned the trial of former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello in the 80.2 billion naira fraud case to April 3rd, following the commencement of witness testimony by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Bello is facing a 19-count charge bordering on money laundering, breach of trust, and misappropriation of public funds. At Wednesday's hearing, the EFCC called its first witness, a property developer and chairman of FBA Properties Nigeria Limited, Fabian Nwora. Nwora told the court that in 2020, his company sold a property in Mayatama, Abuja to one Shehu Bello for 550 million naira. He later discovered that the name on the sale agreement was Dr. Bello, Ohiayi. He explained that in 2023, Shehu returned to Afab Properties, claiming the property was under EFCC investigation and requested a refund. Following his testimony, Justice Mary-Ann Aneni admitted the sale agreement and deed of agreements as exhibits and adjourned the trial to April 3rd, April 24th, and May 6th for continuation. Earlier, the defense team led by JP Daudi San had objected to the testimony, arguing that the prosecution failed to serve them witness statements. However, EFCC counsel Kemi Pinheiro San dismissed the objections as a delay tactics. Despite the protest, Justice Anini ruled that the trial must proceed. Afine Efire has urged the federal government to license Omutekun to carry lethal weapons to enhance security against non-state actors. The group, in a communique after its meeting held in Akure, the country home of its national leader, Pa Ruben Fasoranti, expressed concern over the influx of bandits. The communique by its National Publicity Secretary, Jare Ajayi, said that granting of license can be done preparatory to the setting up of state police. Afine Efire also called for greater cooperation between Omotekun Corps and other security agencies, adding that command and control posts should be installed across all the local government areas so that information can be shared in real time, as is done in many developed and not so developed countries. On the high cost of food items, the group urged states and local governments to make things easy for local farmers by providing them with needed resources, even at subsidized rates. And now to some business reports. Nigeria Labour Congress says it would embark on a nationwide protest against the proposed 50% telecom tariff hike announced by the Nigerian Communications Commission on Friday for 2025. A communique signed by its national president, Joe Ajero, said the decision was taken at the National Administrative Council meeting of the NLC on January 29. Similarly, civil society organizations have pledged their support for the nationwide protest, adding that failure to reverse the hike might result in a nationwide boycott of telecommunication services. Endorsing the rally, the Civil Society Legislative and Advocacy Center, National Civil Society Council of Nigeria, and the Take It Back movement condemned the tariff hike and assured that they would participate in the protest. This is coming after the federal government had approved a 50% increase, though the telecom operators requested a 100% increase. And in response to the development, the NLC rejected the hike, describing it as insensitive, unjustifiable, and a direct assault on Nigerian workers and the general populace already burdened by the worsening economic hardship. He also said the union would embark on a nationwide protest on February 4 to warn against the decision of the government and directed all NLC affiliates to mobilize their members for the rally and demanded an immediate suspension of the 50% tariff hike, while calling on the federal government to dialogue with stakeholders and warned that failure might result in a nationwide boycott of telecommunication services. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Oloyemi Cardoso, says the federal government had cleared the outstanding $7 billion foreign exchange backlog to various firms following a successful verification exercise by forensic auditors. Cardoso disclosed this at the launch of Nigeria's regulatory policy framework organized by the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council. The event, which was tagged the Regulators for Forum, took place at the State House Conference Hall in Abuja. Addressing the audience, Cardoso explained that the bank was optimistic the clearance of the $7 billion backlog would ease the bottlenecks associated with the repatriation of funds by businesses, multinationals, and foreign investors, while the outstanding forex clearance took far longer than they earlier anticipated. He said, in addressing foreign exchange liquidity constraints, decisive steps have been taken to clear outstanding $7 billion forex backlog to ensure that businesses, multinationals, corporations, and foreign investors can repatriate funds seamlessly, adding that the initiative has restored confidence among market participants and reinforced Nigerians' commitment to honoring financial obligations in a timely and efficient manner. Earlier in her address, FEBEC Director General Princess Dara Odu explained that one of the key indicators for the commission was that the majority of the companies expected the government to provide them with a stable and predictable policy environment. Federal government has issued 25 years gas distribution licenses to companies covering 10 franchise areas in Lagos, Ibadan, Port Harcourt, and Benin for the establishment, construction, and operations of gas distribution networks. Benefiting companies include NNPC, Shell, Central Horizon Gas Company, Falcon, Axla, and NIPCO. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, which issued the licenses, said it received over 30 applications from companies, and areas awarded were those already connected to the Escravos Lagos pipeline system. Speaking at the award ceremony in Abuja, the Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, Honorable Emerick Wakbo said the license regime, which is part of the last mile gas expansion program of the federal government, is expected to bring gas supply closer to Nigerians across the country. Ekbo also said the licenses provide an exclusive right to establish, construct, and operate gas distribution systems and ensure the non-discriminatory distribution and sale of natural gas within designated local distribution zones, adding that the issuance of the gas distribution license comes at a pivotal moment as we intensify efforts to harness the potential of gas as a critical resource for Nigeria's energy transition and economic transformation. Speaking earlier, the Chief Executive NMDPRA Engineer Farouk Ahmed disclosed that the licenses would enable the distribution of over 1.5 billion cubic feet of gas per day through a 1,200 kilometer of gas pipeline network and more than 500 customer stations. Minister of Housing and Urban Development Ahmed Dangiwa had urged foreign investors at the Saudi Real Estate Forum to seize the vast opportunities within Nigeria's housing sector, particularly through the federal government's renewed Hope Cities and Estates program. A statement by the Special Assistant Media and Strategy to the minister, Mark Cheshire, said, in a panel discussion, Dangiwa highlighted the significant growth prospects in Nigeria's real estate market while citing the country's ongoing housing deficit. The forum, themed Balance and Innovation in the Real Estate Landscape, saw notable figures such as Minister of Municipality of Qatar, Abdullahi Atiya, and Minister of Construction, Housing and Infrastructure of the Maldives, Abdullahi Muntalib, contributes their insights. Dangiwa stressed that Nigeria faces a housing deficit of 28 million units exacerbated by rapid urbanization. He also noted the government's efforts to engage state governments in unlocking land for affordable housing projects as land acquisition remains a challenge, emphasizing the broader implication of housing and economic growth and stability. Dangiwa highlighted the Nigerian government's commitment to overcoming challenges in the sector. Executive Secretary of the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, Mr. Oji Ogbonnaya Oji, says over $3.7 billion was recovered into government or COFAS in 2020 and 2021 at outstanding liabilities from companies operating in the oil and gas sector. Speaking Speaking during the defense of the agency's 2025 budget before the House Committee on Petroleum Resources Upstream, Mr. Orji disclosed that NETI, in collaboration with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, is also working to recover $6 billion and another 66 billion naira owned to the federal government by oil industry stakeholders. Orji emphasized the agency's role in promoting transparency and accountability in Nigeria's oil, gas and mining sectors, adding that NIT has represented all its reports on the extractive industry to the National Assembly. However, members of the House Committee raised concerns about the agency's budget, questioning the inclusion of repeated items from the 2024 budget and expenditures that appeared excessive or unjustifiable given Nigeria's current economic challenges. Kafilat Obara, APC Lagos, criticized the allocation of 32 million naira for meals, describing it as excessive. Ademori Kuye, APC Lagos, called for prudence in government spending to reflect the country's economic realities. Kuye warned against the perception of the National Assembly as a rubber stamp for budget approvals. Chairman of the committee, Al-Hassan Ado Doguwa, criticized the inclusion of the National Assembly in the agency welfare package, despite no oversight visits being conducted. He emphasized that public resources must be spent responsibly and for the Nigerians. Despite the concerns, Doguwa assured NIT of legislature support, provided the agency can justify its expenditures. He commended the agency's critical role in promoting accountability in Nigeria's extractive industries.
The template is not universally convenient for all agencies. You find the operations that are peculiar to Haiti. For instance, Haiti is an international. There are basic obligations that we owe the country to comply and remain compliant to the international community.
And in your justification, you mentioned the National Assembly. I can't remember this committee inviting us to come for oversight, to come and eat in your establishment. So refreshments and meals, 32 million naira. No matter the type of stakeholders that come to you throughout the year, there's no way. What are you serving? People don't serve more than tom-tom and Coke and water. There's never any time you serve meals.
Now, the best sharp empty 5051 colored photocopia is just about 4.1 million. If you use that to divide your 81 million, that means you are buying about 19 photocopier for whose office? And then you look at the shredding machine. The highest you get is about 240k. And then you want to spend 6 million, you are buying about 25 pieces of that.
The population, our people, for whom we are all here standing for and holding brief for them, are also crying out. Then agencies of government like your own must also be mindful of what to expend out of public coffers. All of these presentations you have made, the expenditures proposed, are all going to be done at the expense of the public. And sometimes you tend to make some presentation that sounds funny and very insulting in the eyes of the people. When you now, for instance, say in your projection, item 22020006, that welfare packages in form of ex gratia, health insurance, welfare packages to staff and some critical stakeholders during festive periods. The narrative, the language you are using there is quite indicting, and that will attract a very, very negative response from the members of the public.
Nigerian Exchange Limited recorded an increase in trading activity in 2024. with total transactions reaching 5.59 trillion naira, marking a rise in market participation. In its domestic and foreign portfolio participation in the equity trading summary of transactions as of December 31, 2024, domestic transactions dominated, accounting for a substantial 85% of the total volume, accounting to 4.73 trillion naira. Domestic and foreign portfolio participation in equity trading summary of transactions means a report detailing the buying and selling of shares on a stock exchange, specifically breaking down the activity between investors based on their location, domestic investors from within the country, and foreign investors from outside the country, showing how much each group has participated in the overall equity trading activity. In contrast, foreign portfolio transactions made up the remaining 15%, totaling 852.03 billion naira. In December 2024, NGX expressed a surge in trading, with total transactions reaching 673.66 billion naira, a 52.29% increase from the previous month's 442.34 billion naira. This performance was also 95.88% higher than the 343.92 billion naira recorded in December 2023. Also, domestic investors continue to dominate the market, contributing 606.91 billion naira, which represents 90.09% of total transactions for the month, while foreign investors contributed 66.75 billion naira, or 9.191%. Now to international news. Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has officially recognized the exit of 3 of its former members, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger Republic, and the exits became effective on Wednesday, January 29, 2025, upon the expiration of a 1-year notice period. However, in the spirit of regional solidarity, ECOWAS asks its member countries to still recognize the national passports of the 3 countries bearing the ECOWAS logo until further notice. A statement by the ECOWAS authority said its doors remain open for more engagement with the 3 countries, requesting its member states to recognize national passports and identify cards bearing the ECOWAS logo held by the citizens of the existing countries until further notice. The West African bloc also urged its members to continue to treat goods and services coming from the 3 countries in accordance with the ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme and Investment Policy. It also asked member states to allow citizens of the 3 affected countries to continue to enjoy the right of visa-free movement, residence, and establishment in accordance with the ECOWAS protocols until further notice, and to provide full support and cooperation to ECOWAS officials from the 3 countries in the course of their assignments for the communities. ATN recalls that scores of people on Tuesday rallied in Niger and Burkina Faso in support of the withdrawal of their countries from the Economic Community of West African States, which is due to take effect Wednesday. About 18 people died when a plane carrying 21 passengers and crew members crashed in South Sudan's Unity State. Radio Miraya, which is run by the United Nations mission in South Sudan, reported that the plane had departed from an oil field in the northern states when it crashed. The reports gave no further details, and Information Minister Michael Makui said did not immediately respond to the incident. ATN gathered that several air crashes have occurred in war-torn South Sudan in recent years. In September 2018, at least 19 people died when a small aircraft carrying passengers from the capital, Juba, to the city of Ural crashed. Also in 2015, dozens of people were killed when A Russian-built cargo plane with passengers on board crashed after taking off from the airport to the capital city, Juba. And that's the size of the package for today on Transition. Thanks for joining us. You can follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter at @TVNet, on Facebook and YouTube at @Atati Television Network, on Instagram at Atati TV. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Society Watch comes up shortly. Do not go away. I am Chidima Wadike.